Mencari timba si anak dara di bawah sarang burung tempua. Salam sembah pembukaan bicara. Selamat datang untuk semua. A very good morning to Yang Berusaha, Mr. Ismail Said, Chief Executive Officer, Leadership Institute of Sarawak Civil Service. Yang Berusaha, Mr. Bruce Kinney JC, Deputy Director, Malaysian Administrative Modernizations and Management Planning Unit. Yang Berusaha, Madam Grace Hong Si Hung, Principal Assistant Director, State Service Modernizations Unit of Chief Minister's Department Sarawak. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Leadership Institute Innovation Month activities launch. This event is in conjunction with the State Civil Service Innovation Month 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our event today, we would like to invite Mr. Abdul Rani to lead the dua recital. Mr. Abdul Rani, please.
Terima kasih, Saudara. Kita mulakan dengan doa Umul Kitab Al-Fatihah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Arrahmanirrahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Amin amin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Karim, Ya Wadud, sesungguhnya kami berhimpun pada hari ini bagi menyatakan kesyukuran di atas kurnia-Mu yang tidak ternilai. Jadikanlah kami hamba-hamba-Mu yang sentiasa bersyukur sama ada nikmat yang sedikit, lebih-lebih lagi nikmat yang melimpah ruah kepada kami. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Engkau berkatilah dan rahmatilah perjalanan majlis pelancaran Bulan Inovasi Leadership Institute bersempena dengan sambutan Bulan Inovasi Perkhidmatan Awam Negeri Sarawak 2021 pada hari ini. Sesungguhnya Engkau Maha mengetahui bahawa kami di sini ingin menimba ilmu yang sangat luas bagi mengembangkan ilmu pengetahuan kami sebagai hamba-Mu yang Engkau redai. Justru berkatilah dan rahmatilah perhimpunan kami ini. Kurniakanlah kepada kami ilmu-Mu. Sinarilah hati-hati kami dengan cahaya dan hidayah-Mu. Semoga dengannya kami mudah menerima dan menghayati serta mengamalkannya. Ya Zal Jalali wal Ikram. Kurniakanlah juga kepada kami kesehatan anggota, kecergasan minda, keterangan jiwa, kekuatan semangat. Lebih lagi di masa pandemik sekarang ini. Semoga dengannya kami mampu menempati cabaran, berdaya saing dan mampu mengangkat martabat diri, keluarga, masyarakat dan negara. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Taqabbalallahu minkum.
Thank you, Mr. Abdul Rani. Before we proceed with this morning's formalities to preserve the memories for this event, we would like to invite everyone present to turn on your Zoom video for a photography session.
Okay, everyone, smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, hold on here. 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sarawak Civil Service Innovation Month is an initiative by the Sarawak government to cultivate and encourage the innovation culture among Sarawak civil service communities, and we at the Leadership Institute supports the event. We would like to take this opportunity to thank Encik Bruce Kini JC and Madam Grace Hong Siu Hung for making the time to be with us this morning. The Leadership Institute will spearhead 3 activities for all Sarawak Civil Service employees and 1 in-house activities for the Leadership Institute's employees, categorized under education, technology, creativities, and innovation clusters. The activities are massive open online course, MOOC, and online instructional design competition, Cook It Smart Videography, a smart video production competition, data and analytics valuations, webinar, and Institute TikTok contest. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to present to you a short video presentation prepared by the working committees for today's event. Sudilah Tuan jalan berlapan di malam kelam. Sudilah Tuan beri ucapan, kata aluan pemanis kalam. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite our Chief Executive Officer yang berusaha, Mr. Ismail Said, to grace our event with his opening remarks and in conjunction with the SCS Innovation Month to officially launch the Leadership Institute activities. Mr. Ismail, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Maureen. I'm impressed by the TikTok, they call it the video, you call it video, probably it's more TikTok. I didn't realize that we produce actors, in every program that we run. We've run a couple of programs recently, and each and every time we run programs at the Institute, we do find different level of talents. So I think that's a big day for me, in the sense that you get to see people perform in different role. Yang berusaha Encik Bruce Kini, JC, Timbalan Pengarah, TPP2, Unit Permodanan Takbiran dan Perancangan Pengurusan Malaysia, atau lebih kita kenali sebagai MAMPU. It's nice to meet you again, JC. And yang berusaha Puan Grace Wong Siu Hung, Ketua Bahagian Servis Sarawak, Unit Permodanan Perkhidmatan Negeri, atau lebih kita kenali sebagai SSMU. And nice to meet you again, Grace. Other than the car park at Servis Sarawak, the last time we met, and then we went into PKPD. More importantly, warga SCS, I did notice that there are a few of us from STIDC, some of us from Facebook. That's a testimony of the fact that we do reach out. I guess as we launch this program at this point in time, I I'm aware that, for example, Forestry is also launching their program this morning, if I'm not mistaken, and a few others are also launching. So I guess the community is actually celebrating Bulan Inovasi Peringkat Negeri Sarawak. And of course, to my staff, Warga Leadership Institute, I started by saying what a big day. I spent 30 years of my career. I spent 30 years of my career in an organization or in an industry where innovation, apart from safety, is embedded in our DNA. For us, we have to be innovative. For example, from a cost perspective, we have to be competitive in cost. To be cost effective, we have to be innovative. We have to actually leverage technology like nobody business. We have to find that frontier technology if we were to become preferred partner, as we call it, in the environment that I come from. And I recall one of the highlights of my career was actually to launch the gas pipeline for Beijing Olympics. And we found a solution in terms of how to deliver that 3 months ahead of the Beijing Olympics. And I learned something there very interestingly. When it comes to innovation, the moment you have a solution to a problem, it is obsolete. So in other words, I'm brought up in an environment where innovation is something you must do to survive in that environment I come from. I think in the public sector, the delivery of public services is now confronted, whether we like it or not, since the pandemic, confronted by challenging landscape. The way citizens interact with the government has changed, and we have to understand demography. We have to do many things that we thought not possible, but possible through technology. And I think that's the challenge that we have as we move forward. If I were to go back and look at it from the learning perspective of it, something which is obvious to many of us, I think the pandemic has brought onto us what I call social isolation, but an increase in demand for online training. As an example, the Institute to a great extent mampu as well. And I think we are confronted by a couple of questions as we talk about online. And I think it relates to the very program that we have at Institute, I think, during this month, as we support the state, as we contribute to the State Innovation Month. I think from a training or learning perspective, there is increasing debate around how do you improve accessibility. I think this morning is also a question of accessibility. And I think all the more from a learning perspective, how do you improve that accessibility? We also need to ask, are we engaging users in service design? And I think that's where I like some of the things that I see from the committee. You talk about MOOC, you talk about Cook IT. So we need to begin to think about how we can engage users in a design perspective. We don't do that very often, but here is an opportunity for us to move into that space. The question also will be asked, how do we target users' needs more accurately? So that's about innovation. If indeed the way forward is continued isolation, work from home, and virtual online learning, that's something we must ask. But of course, of late, I think in the last two webinars for the state, executive webinars for the state, and the recent State Human Resource webinar, they begin to talk about how do you address mental stress as a result of what's going on in the online interfaces, or what's going on in terms of how you actually do online transaction. So I think there's a lot of space where the state will need to innovate in terms of the delivery of its public services. The few that I mentioned by posing questions is very much related to the learning space that we are entering at the moment. So I'm glad that we are able to look at three programs as mentioned by Maureen this morning, MOOC, Cook IT, and webinar on how we use data. It is a space, I think the third one is a space where we need to spend a bit more time trying to exploit technology and be innovative in terms of how we make information available, how we visualize information in the work that we do daily. It is also a big day for us. This is the first time, I think, Puan Grace, on behalf of SSMU, that we have been invited to contribute to Bulan Inovasi Peringkat Negeri Sarawak. We are accepting that invitation with open arms, and please invite us again. We are excited in the sense that it allows us to actually go beyond our normal duties to actually contribute to the state. And I think it is also important for us to highlight through this Bulan Inovasi the many activities that we have in learning, and that learning can be fun as well. And the innovation in terms of how we can learn better, to the point that I've said earlier, in the absence of person contact as a result of virtual learning, our ability to design together with SES community and the citizens broadly in terms of how we can deliver a program is, I think, it's very interesting. That's where I really appreciate the fact that we have MOOC, and it's something that I look forward to. And realizing that innovation cuts across different sectors in the community. There's innovation at the innovator level, there's innovation at the team level, at the department level, and at society level. I think the contest that we have, the TikTok contest that we have for the Institute is very much, although it's kind of confined to the Institute, it's very much what we call, it's for the soul of the Institute. At times we like to compete amongst ourselves, to see, it's just like, what they call it, those days, I think the Institute has its own what they call talent, the voice from Leadership Institute. I think at times mungkin di antara warga LI tu nya belum mau join Olympics, nya mau main di kampung dulu. So we have our own TikTok contest that will serve our purpose. As they said, we will grow out of it next year, and but it doesn't stop any one of us at the Warga Institute to actually join in any of those Cook IT or MOOC, or as we run the webinar. I think I'll stop there in the sense that this is a day where we should not talk too much, we should not cut ribbons, but get into it, get into MOOC, get into Cook IT, and begin to plan how we actually get people excited around visualization, use of data, use of insights. So I'll stop there. Again, my humble appreciation and to all the committee. I know the committee started with 1. It grew into 2, and I think now we have an institution behind the committee, with its media, with its marketing, with its everything else that you need to know about running a committee is actually behind this, making sure that we actually give the best as we support the state. At the end of the day, I think I will close it with the slogan that says, it is actually an honor for us to serve. And I think it is an honor for us even to contribute in this Bulan Inovasi Peringkat Negeri Sarawak. With that, thank you guys, and have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Ismail. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to remind all present that the briefing session for Cook It and MOOC competitions contestants will be held tomorrow, 7 September 2021 at 10 a.m. for Cook It and at 2 p.m. for MOOCs. All Sarawak Civil Service employees are most welcome to participate in both competitions by scanning the QR codes on the screen. The most innovative in instructional design and smart videography design will receive Samsung Galaxy Flip 3, and we wish all the best to all the contestants. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite Yang Berusaha, Mr. Bruce Kini JC, Deputy Director from Malaysia's Administrative Modernizations and Management Planning Unit for his speech. Mr. Bruce, please.
Thank you, Madam. Permit me to deliver my speech in Bahasa Malaysia. Salam sejahtera dan salam Sarawak Ibu Pertiwiku yang berusaha, Encik Ismail Said, Chief Executive Officer, Leadership Institute of Sarawak Civil Service, yang berusaha Puan Grace Huang Siu Hung, Ketua Bahagian Servis Unit Pemodenan Perkhidmatan Negeri, Jabatan Ketua Menteri, pegawai-pegawai kanan institut, para urustia yang telah bertungkus lumus untuk menjayakan program ini, dan tuan-puan yang saya hormati sekalian. Terlebih dahulu kita bersyukur kepada Tuhan Yang Maha Kuasa kerana dengan izinnya kita dapat bersama-sama bersua walaupun secara maya dalam majlis pelancaran Bulan Inovasi Leadership Institute of the Sarawak Civil Service pada pagi ini. Saya mewakili pengarah mampu Sarawak yang tak dapat hadir pada pagi ini kerana terpaksa menghadiri program bersama Jabatan Ketua Menteri Sarawak. Terima kasih kerana sudi menjemput mampu bagi program yang sangat sinonim dengan gerak kerja yang agensi kami laksanakan dalam melestarikan program inovasi sempena sambutan Bulan Inovasi pada tahun 2021 ini. Untuk makluman semua, mampu dengan kerjasama Unit Pemodenan Perkhidmatan Negeri Sarawak telah mula merancang pelaksanaan program sempena sambutan Bulan Inovasi pada tahun ini mulai bulan Mei yang lepas. Dan ia telah menunjukkan peningkatan penyertaan di kalangan agensi kerajaan negeri dan persekutuan dengan sejumlah 43 program inovasi pada tahun ini berbanding hanya 15 program pada tahun 2020. Peningkatan ini telah menunjukkan ramai agensi serta warga penjawat awam mula menitik beratkan budaya inovasi dalam tugasan harian. Dan dalam keadaan endemik ini, ia merupakan peluang untuk kita sama memikirkan jalan yang terbaik dalam menyelesaikan masalah demi memastikan penyampaian perkhidmatan agensi kerajaan dapat direalisasikan dan menambah keyakinan pelanggan kita. Saya difahamkan ada 4 kluster yang terlibat di dalam program pada pagi ini sehingga program selesai, iaitu pendidikan, teknologi, kreativiti dan inovasi. Asas ini selari dengan inisiatif My Digital dan Blueprint Ekonomi Digital Malaysia yang telah dilancarkan oleh Perdana Menteri Malaysia pada 19 Februari 2021. Inisiatif kerajaan adalah usaha untuk mengubah ekosistem penggunaan teknologi digital bagi memampan impak COVID-19 terhadap semua operasi sektor terutamanya ekonomi daripada keadaan tradisional. My Digital selain dari pelengkap kepada dasar pembangunan negara seperti Rancangan Malaysia ke-12 dan Wawasan Kemakmuran Bersama 2030 juga merupakan satu agenda besar, satu jenama negara yang akan memayungi pelbagai usaha serta inisiatif kerajaan dalam mentransformasi Malaysia untuk menjadi negara berpendapatan tinggi yang berpacukan teknologi dan pendigitalan serta menjadi peneraju serantau dalam ekonomi digital. Ladies and gentlemen, innovation is a proven driver of creating value that leads to economic growth. Investing in innovation gives us the ability to create new high-value industry, such as products and technology, create high-value jobs, and remain relevant and competitive with fast-moving global marketplace. Innovation is vital in the workplace because it can help develop original concepts while giving innovators that are among civil service a proactive, confident attitude to take risks and get things done. When an organization or any department has an innovative culture, it will grow easily, despite the fact that creative process is not always simple. Tried and tested method may be reliable, but trying out new things is a worthwhile experiment. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian, menyedari bahawa betapa pentingnya inovasi, kerajaan telah memberi perhatian khusus dalam usaha menuju ke arah mencapai status negara maju berpendapatan tinggi menjelang 2050. Oleh itu, inovasi merupakan kemestian yang perlu ada di dalam jiwa kita selaku penjawat awam dan terus membudayakannya agar ia menjadi prinsip yang mendorong kita untuk terus maju ke hadapan. Dalam program inovasi yang kita anjurkan, ia perlu mencerminkan bahawa kualiti penjawat awam telah senantiasa unggul dan pastikan ianya bersih daripada sebarang anasir yang boleh menjatuhkan imej kita sebagai penjawat awam. Dalam pada itu juga, kita perlu sentiasa menjaga standard operasi semasa agar ia mematuhi perintah kawalan pergerakan yang sedang berkuat kuasa dan seterusnya kita dapat dihindari oleh sebarang masalah dan seterusnya agenda pemulihan negara dapat dicapai. Akhir kata saya, sekali lagi saya ingin mengucapkan berbanyak terima kasih kepada penganjur program ini kerana menjemput kami. Saya yakin objektif program ini akan tercapai dan teruskanlah usaha ini di masa yang mendatang agar ia menjadi sumber perkembangan dan kemajuan institut ini dan menjadi kunci untuk terus berdaya saing di dalam dunia kompetitif ini. Syabas dan tahniah atas penganjuran program Majlis Pelancaran Bulan Inovasi Leadership Institute of Sarawak Civil Service. Sekian, terima kasih.
Thank you, Mr. Bruce. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite Yang Berusaha, Madam Grace Huang Si Hung, Principal Assistant Director from State Service Modernization Unit, Chief Minister's Department, Sarawak, for her speech. Madam Grace, please.
Okey, terima kasih saya ucapkan kepada pengurusi majlis Tuan Maureen. Okey, selamat pagi, salam sejahtera dan salam Sarawakku sayang, especially to Tuan Said, Tuan Ismail Said, CEO of Leadership Institute, Encik Bruce Kini JC, Timbalan Pengarah Mampu, and of course to all the warga of Leadership Institute. You see, the wonder of technology, make us able to meet up even though we are physically not together. And leadership is able to organize this program even though we are all at different places. So this is the wonder of technology. So first of all, let me, on behalf of my director, Mr. Michael Ronnie, he's not able to, he sent his apologies. He's not able to attend this event because he has another event going on at the same time. So on behalf of my director, I would like to say thank you very much to Leadership Institute, di atas jemputan, to this meaningful event, that is Majlis Pelancaran Bulan Inovasi Leadership Institute. And also, I would like to say congratulations, and Shabas, to leadership, because you are one of the agency pelaksana, one of the organization that has actually take up this challenge. I was informed that this Bulan Inovasi for this year, we actually invited, before this, the event was actually within the ministries and departments only. But this year, we have actually opened up to also GLC. So I would like to say congratulations to leadership for being able to participate in this event. Okay, before that, maybe I'll just do a bit of a background about this Bulan Inovasi, the evolution of this Bulan Inovasi that was actually started many years ago. Okay, so in 1993, this innovation actually was started as Hari Quality. Hari Quality, that is actually organized within respective organization. Every agency, they're encouraged to have their own Hari Quality, to acknowledge the contribution from their own employees within their own organization. Then dalam tahun 2010, we actually renamed it to Minggu Inovasi. So we actually get agencies, to work together, their programs and their activities, those programs that yang ada ciri-ciri inovasi, and then we get the agencies to work together between state, and we also invite the federal. Then last year, we actually naik taraf, we upgraded to become Bulan Inovasi, okay? Because we feel that this is a good platform, to encourage more agency to participate, and then to understand the importance of innovation and creativity. Innovation and creativity has been one of the important areas that the state government has been considering it as a very important event. Even way back in our SCS 1020, creativity and innovation is actually one of the pillars under our one of the 8 key area that the SCS is working on to improve. Because like Tuan Ismail mentioned just now, you say that you come from an organization where innovation is a must. Because cost efficiency is actually one of the important factors for the private sector or corporate sector actually, to stay in the top. And over the years, we feel that government is also no different. So I remember our mantan SS, Kansi Mushidi, he actually said in one occasion, government cannot be business as usual, because if we still continue to become business as usual, we will soon become obsolete. We become irrelevant. So that's why in SSMU, being the State Service Modernization Unit, we feel that public service delivery needs to change. We cannot be business as usual. So that's why innovation and creativity is one of the areas that we feel that is very important in order to change, in order to improve in our service delivery to the people, to the rakyat. We must actually be creative. We must be innovative in the way we actually provide the service to the rakyat. because we are here to serve the people. You know, the government is here to serve the people. So how do we serve the people is actually very important, especially now in this pandemic time. We feel like CEO mentioned just now, accessibility. You know, because of pandemic, we cannot say that we close office, we close shop, you know, then we don't actually need to provide service. No, even in this pandemic, you know, we still need to serve the people. We still need to have accessibility to learn, to work, you know, to deliver our service. So it is the challenge now, you know, how do we actually look in under, is the new challenge, how do we actually provide service or accessibility under the new norms now? So the creativity and the innovation now, I think, will be tuned towards how do we come up with innovative idea that can address or that can help us to address the new norms. Because now when there is a positive case, office get closed. So we are not allowed to go to office, but we are still required to provide the service. So we must come up with innovative ideas, you know, in innovative solution. How do we still provide the service regardless where we are? You know, we can be not in the office, but we can still provide the service. So I just want to share one example because since I'm actually in charge of Service Sarawak, so I have this idea because I'm sure all of you know about Service Sarawak. I hope so. To keep it brief, Service Sarawak is the government new platform or the government customer-centric platform to provide the service to the people. We believe we have this concept of one government at your service. Well, I always believe that, you know, government is actually very complex. It's a very complex organization. We have ministries, we have departments, we have, you know, we have R&D, we have resident, we have council, you know, we have statutory body and all that. But and we all provide different service to the people. So to the people, to the rakyat at large, they normally recognize us as Sarawak government, Kerajaan Sarawak. And then every time then they will start asking, where do I get service if I want A? Which agency do I go if I want this service, service A, service B, you know? So sometimes they get very confused. So I actually personally like this idea of one government at your service when this logo come up. And when we were actually involved, when I was personally involved in this SCS 1020 under the pillar called Managing Customer Needs. So that is the concept that we actually wanted to achieve, one government at your service. So that's how actually Service Sarawak come about, because we actually want to realize this concept of one government at your service. So that's why I said it's a new platform where we actually want to deliver the government service under concept of one government, meaning the single point of contact. So maknanya when public come, they just go to one place. You know, they don't have to worry, is it land and survey, is it agriculture, is it forest department, you know, or is it a resident Kuching. No, they go to one place to get the service. And we also thought about having it at different platform, different channel. Channel means that it can be at the counter, it can be at the kiosk, or it can be online. And why I want to touch here today, because we started in 2018, and our focus at that point in time was actually counter, because government service, you know, public still go to counter to get government service. So we focus on the counter. So we try to put those services from various agencies, you know, at one counter so that they can enjoy or experience the concept of no wrong counter. Earlier, we are government, we actually introduced no wrong door. So we try to actually make it, you know, a no wrong counter, meaning that you go to one counter, you can get multiple service. So Then last year, we actually we put a lot of effort in developing the digital channel because of this pandemic. Because we know that with this pandemic, accessibility to the counter or to physical counter will be actually restricted and being constrained. So we have come up with this digital platform, our digital channel. We call it Service Sarawak Portal or Service Sarawak apps. So similar service will be provided at the digital platform. So if you have not tried, maybe you can, after this, you can download the Service Sarawak apps, or you can go to the portal version called service.sarawak.gov.my. Okay, so there you can actually get the services online. Okay, so the public don't have to come to the counter. So this is where I see this as accessibility in terms of service delivery. So we still want to make the service available, accessible by the public, but through a different channel. You know that because of this COVID-19, our center in Kuching was closed for 2 weeks because our staff is tested positive. And also similar, our center at Cebu also need to be closed for 2 weeks. And then what do? Public still want to come and get the service. So this is where, the digital channel actually, came in very, very important. So now we are promoting, trying to get the public, to go to our digital channel. It is also a challenge, and it is the transition period. Even though we have the digital channel, but I think we all know that, most of our people are still comfortable going to the counter. They still enjoy going to the counter, getting personal touch experience. But with this pandemic, I think it is also good that they have to start to learn, to look for a different channel to get the service. So all this come about is because we need to have innovation, we need to be creative, and then we need to be agile, in looking into how best to serve the people. Okay, so that's why I agreed, with CEO of Leadership and also Mampu, where we said that innovation and creativity is actually very important, and we need to inculcate that in the mind of everyone. Okay, so I'm actually very happy, to see that Leadership Institute has come up with 3 programs under your Innovation Month program for the SES, for PANS for SES, because I think Leadership is the right organization, because you focus on learning, and I think this is where we need leadership, to lead and to drive and bring all the SES community into with this build this innovative mind, innovative culture in each and every one of the SES members, so that we can look for new ways, innovative way, creative way to provide our service to the people. Okay, so I think that's all from me. And once again, I want to say congratulations to Leadership, and hope that we can all grow together, and we can all become more creative and more innovative, and then we can serve the state better. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Grace. Ladies and gentlemen, as mentioned earlier, the Institute is organizing a TikTok competitions for our employees. I hope that you have a little more time for presentations of the Institute's TikTok trailer video.
Entah apa yang था मैं पहले या अब हो गया हूँ
बैठी है निगाहें और बिखरी है बात तुमने बनाया है क्या अपना ये
For everyone's information, this TikTok video was created by the Leadership Institute employees in October 2019, before the pandemic. That's marked the end of the Leadership Institute Innovation Month's activities launch in conjunction with the State Civil Service Innovations Month 2021. We would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for making time to be present today. We wish all the very best of luck to all participants. Terbang tinggi burung kenyalang, megah sekali dipandang mata. Sayang Sarawak si akan menghilang. Stay safe, kita jaga kita.
Ewa. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.